Hey guys! So, while growing up, I often drew myself in an anime style. Ever since I've known the existence of anime, anime just often had such a cool art style, like the perfect blend of cartooniness and realism. So I often really liked drawing myself in that style. However, I have never really drawn myself in different anime styles. I always kind of kept to my own kind of art style. So let's change that today. It's a little challenge, I guess. So let's start with the anime that has influenced my art style the most. Attack on Titan. So honestly, this character model right here was in the beginning again supposed to be like me drawing myself just in anime. This wasn't even part of the video yet. But my art style, ever since like I watched Attack on Titan like as a kid basically when it came out, it's impacted my art style so much. And now my natural art style is just already kind of an Attack on Titan style. So people said often that I look like Eren. Like I remember vividly one time I just straight up drew Eren Yeager and my niece was like, "Oh, did you draw yourself?" I was like, "No." But thanks. So yeah, I kept him as like a character base, you know? I think if I was drawn in Attack on Titan style, it would look very similar to Eren. So for my design, you might see some things around my character. I essentially grabbed some things that I think that kind of represent me, you know, like my star sign is Libra, my year of Chinese calendar animal is a snake, Venus is my planet, all that stuff. And actually more on that later for other character designs. I'll delve a little bit more deeper into that. But yeah, I also like the scarf, you know? I've always loved the symbolism of like the red scarf. I was really struggling with the colors, like what colors represent me best, you know? I just really love green, I really love red. I wanted to throw a bit in yellow, but I ended up with a green scarf instead of red. I really like this long jacket that Eren wears in the final season. And yeah, I just kind of based my design mostly off of that. So again, this wasn't meant to be part of the video, but it ended up anyway because again my style is very Attack on Titan like. And for what it's worth, I really like it. Like I think it's a good image. It's a good representation of how I would look in the style. Like obviously it looks still a lot like Eren, but not too much. Like it's not like straight up a twin, I would say. So I think I did a pretty great job. Also here is another picture of me inserted in a scene of Attack on Titan with the rest of the cast, just to see how I would kind of blend in. So before I go into the next drawing, I wanted to talk about this power wheel, ability wheel chart that I made. So often in anime and games and stuff like that, characters have like special powers, right? Like just think of like My Hero Academia quirks, or Naruto chakra control, or well, Avatar, you know, like that happens often. And I've always been like, well, I wonder what my powers would be if I lived in like a universe like that, right? And having always based of like, well, I like fire, so I'd probably be a firebender. I never liked that because, you know, in Avatar universe, there are people who like firebenders, but they're not firebenders, you know, like, I bet there are people who are like, oh, I wish my power wasn't this. So I wanted to have like a chart that's just like, boom, this would be your powers, deal with it. That's, I feel like how it'd be in real life. Sometimes you have a talent that, you know, you don't want, but it's yours, so own it. So essentially how I made this is, I discovered that everyone already has like a main element, you know, based on like your zodiac sign. So mine, for example, would be wind. So I guess it'd be an airbender. But everyone also has a birthstone. Now, as far as I could see, birthstones or stones in general, gems, don't really have an element attached to it, even though I thought they would. So I took it upon myself to think of something. So that's what this chart on the right is. So based with your main element and your, I guess, birthstone element, you can combine that, and then you have a whole another sub element you can control. So for me, it'd be ice, for example, because when you have like cold air and you combine it with water, I guess you would get like ice. Like nothing on this chart would be, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's kind of the best I could come up with. So please let me know in the comments, according to this chart, what would be your element and power, or like sub element. I would love to know, because okay, that's also another thing why I like to have like kind of two elements. Because like, for example, imagine you could control smoke. I don't think that's really that cool of a power, but then at least you still have water bending as like your main element, you know, or fire. So that's why I like also having kind of two elements to choose from, so that if you don't like one, you can always prefer the other. And another thing is, I like the idea of like having animals, but what I also discovered is like the Chinese calendar and like other like totem animals, stuff like that, they only have like a selected few animals. So I kind of decided to come up with like all the types of animals that exist, you know, like amphibians, canines, birds, arachnids, you name it, and put that in so that maybe, I don't know, like for Naruto, if you have a summon, my summon will be a bird. And I think it's just kind of cool to follow this. If I come up or think of a character, like I can kind of follow this chart if I know the birthday and be like, oh, you'll be this. So again, let me know what you would be on this chart. I'd be very interested to see, and yeah, let me know if you like it. So for my second anime, I choose Naruto. So Naruto is also like one of my favorite animes. It's pretty tight with Attack on Titan, but I do think Attack on Titan is more of a combined package, you know. It's easier to come in for newcomers, so I think that's just a little bit up, but Naruto is a close second. Anyway, I love ninja. I love how it looks. They're so cool and ninja. So this is also where we get kind of in the chart. So like, again, we talked about this. My elements would be kind of air and ice. So my chakra nature would probably involve both of those. Like the first thing I want to think of is, from what village would I come from? You know, that has a pretty big impact on your design. And since I'm very ice based and wind based, I immediately thought of like the Hidden Mist village, like Haku. I love Haku, by the way. He's probably like my favorite character, although Kakashi and Itachi are very close. But yeah, so I originally based my design a lot of Haku, which I guess would also mean that I come from the Blood Mist village, which is not that great. But maybe Ninja Me can survive all that, I don't know. I also hadn't really figured out at this point yet if I wanted, like at first I wanted to do like a full design, but I like to have more emphasis on the face, you know, because that's really where a lot of the character shows. And when you zoomed in on this face, I feel like it was still very Titan based. So my favorite art style of Naruto is OG Naruto, not Shippuden, sorry. It's just a little bit too simplistic for my taste. But, so I first wanted to go with OG Naruto art style, but it just still looked too similar to my original art style / Attack on Titan. So I had to kind of go more into Shippuden territory to have more of a Naruto look. I based my design a lot of Neji and Itachi, well, and of course Haku, but for my face specifically. And yeah, I still want to be very close to like my main design, which I made the Attack on Titan design actually. So I want to be kind of faithful to that, still have the green scarf. So I wanted to be faithful to that. So for my Naruto design, I'm actually pretty impressed. I've drawn Naruto characters before, but not myself in a different style like Naruto. And like, yeah, it looks still a lot like Neji, you know? But again, it doesn't look like an exact Neji clone, so I'll take it. I do think this design makes me very long. I'm not that tall, but I do kind of like it. I kind of look like a cousin of Neji or something, but then without the Byakugan and coming from a different village. But anyway, I'm pleasantly surprised by how this looks. The Hidden Mist getup looks good on me. The hair, a little bit maybe too straight, but like, it's fine. Yeah, I quite like it. I quite like it. I quite like it. And here's still a picture of me with the Naruto crew to see how I blend in with them. For the third one, I wanted to have another very unique art styles. I really wanted to have like 4 animes with vastly different art styles, really unique to their respective anime. So I chose Demon Slayer. Now I gotta be honest, I have not caught up to Demon Slayer yet. I've only seen the first season and like the train movie, and that was quite a while ago. Oh, and I think I've seen like one episode of season 2. So I don't know too much of Demon Slayer, but I'm absolutely in love with the art style. So I was quite stoked for this. Again, since I don't know too much about Demon Slayer, I didn't really know where to pull my designs from. One thing that always stuck with me is Tanjiro's design, and I'm so terrible with names. That one guy that like almost killed Nezuko. Well, that's a couple guys actually. The really cool one. I really like how he looks. He reminds me a lot of Sasuke. Yeah, again, I pulled from my original design, so like my Hakama, I don't know what that's called. It's like both the color of my, well, jacket and my shirt, because, well, you know, the Demon Slayer outfit underneath is very much just the same for everyone, just with some characteristic touches. And I, of course, have my iconic green scarf. So for this design, to me, it feels like there's missing something, like lighting. But like I looked a couple times, and yeah, the Demon Slayer characters don't have lighting. It's just shadow. Like you can even see it in this picture here, where I inserted myself in the Demon Slayer cast with the cool guy. Yeah, I think I fit in pretty okay. So I guess I did something right. I don't know. It's definitely the weakest one for me. But I like when compared to the other characters, I think it looks fine. So I don't know. I did my best, and I think it paid off. I guess I'd be like have an ice breathing technique. I'm like the snow Hashira. So the final anime style was kind of hard for me to think of what I wanted to do. But then I realized Pokemon has a very unique art style, I would say. You know, like no other anime quite has that art style. So I often forget that Pokemon is an actual anime, but I absolutely love Pokemon. I'm actually teaching my little nephew to watch Pokemon, and he's really enjoying it. So you know what? That's why I decided to go with it. Again, strongly based off my OC character design. So I guess if I was a Pokemon trainer, I would have a lot of wind type and ice type Pokemon. I just found out that there's only one real ice trainer. I grew up with like the first couple of gen of Pokemon. After that kind of fell off in my opinion. Except for X and Y. From what I saw, that one looked very promising too. But yeah, I guess maybe I would be like the first ice type Pokemon trainer you'd encounter. I don't know. I made my jacket a little bit more sporty, simplified my hair a bit, the scarf, and bada boom bada bang, you got Pokemon art style. So for my Pokemon design version of me, again, pleasantly surprised. So I have not drawn Pokemon all too much, let alone the characters of Pokemon, like the actual human Pokemon, like the actual trainers. So yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised with how good this looks. Again, insert picture of me with like the Pokemon crew. Like I don't think I look too far off. Like this could be an actual character in Pokemon, I feel. Although I do have a bit of a cocky smile. I kind of give off Gary vibes. Which, like, I'm very competitive, so I guess that works out. If you play Mario Party or Kart with me, I will try to destroy you. I'm probably Phil, because, wow, my luck. But, yeah, very pleased with how this turned out. So that was it for this video. I'm very happy with how this turned out. It was kind of a nice, relaxing break from my last 2 videos that took, like, weeks to edit. So yeah, it's nice to have like a little bit of a chill video again. I hope you guys enjoyed it and like my art style interpretations of me. Again, let me know what you thought of the character power chart and what your power would be. I'm very interested. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. And I hope I'll see you in my next video. Later!